The night was very quiet, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. Nnamdi lay in bed, his heart pounding in his chest. Outside, the wind whispered through the trees, but it wasn't the wind that scared him, it was the Ewe Festival. In Nnamdi's village, the Ewe Festival was a time when people celebrated the harvest, giving thanks to the gods for the food they had grown. But there was something else about the festival, something dark that made Nnamdi shiver every time he thought about it. The elders said that during the Ewe Festival, the spirits of the ancestors would come to visit the village. These spirits weren't like the friendly ancestors Nnamdi had heard about in stories. These spirits were angry, and they only came out at night. They were said to wander through the village, looking for anyone who wasn't hiding in their home. If they found you, they would take you away, never to be seen again. Nnamdi had never seen the spirits himself, but he had heard the stories. Every year, children would disappear during the Ewe Festival. The elders would say it was the spirits doing, and everyone believed them. This year, the festival felt different. There was a heaviness in the air and a sense of dread that made Nnamdi's stomach twist with fear. His mother had told him to stay inside, to keep the doors locked and the windows shut. Don't even peek outside, she had warned. The spirits can see in the dark. But as Nnamdi lay in bed, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The night was too quiet, as if the village was holding its breath. He could hear his heart beating in his ears, and his hands felt cold and clammy. Suddenly, there was a sound, a soft, distant whisper that sent a chill down Nnamdi's spine. He sat up in bed, straining to hear. The whisper grew louder, and Nnamdi realized it wasn't just one voice. It was many voices, all speaking at once, like a crowd of people mourning in the darkness. Nnamdi's fear took hold of him, and he threw the blanket over his head, squeezing his eyes shut. It's just the wind, he told himself, just the wind. But deep down, he knew it wasn't the wind. The whispers grew closer, and Nnamdi could feel the air in his room grow colder. He shivered under the blanket, too scared to move. Then the voices stopped. The silence that followed was even more terrifying. Nnamdi's heart raced, and he felt a cold sweat break out on his forehead. Slowly, he lowered the blanket just enough to peek out. The room was dark, the only light coming from the faint moonlight that filtered through the window. Everything seemed normal, but Nnamdi's instinct told him something was wrong. He was about to pull the blanket back over his head when he saw it, a shadow moving across the wall. Nnamdi froze, his breath catching in his throat. The shadow was tall and thin, and it moved slowly. As if searching for something, Nnamdi's mind screamed at him to hide, but his body wouldn't obey. He watched in terror as the shadow slid across the room, closer and closer to his bed. Just as the shadow reached the edge of the bed, Nnamdi felt a hand grab his arm. He gasped, turning to see who it was, but no one was there. The hand tightened its grip, and Nnamdi felt himself being pulled out of the bed. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. He tried to fight, but he was too scared to move. The shadow loomed over him, its face just inches from his own. Nnamdi could feel its cold breath on his skin, and he knew in that moment that the stories were true. The spirit had come for him. Just as he thought he would be dragged away into the darkness, a loud bang echoed through the room. The door to his room flew open, and his mother rushed in. holding a candle in one hand and a broom in the other hand. The light from the candle chased away the shadows, and the hand that had been gripping Nnamdi's arm vanished. Nnamdi fell back onto his bed, gasping for breath. His mother quickly closed the door and sat beside him, holding him close. "It's okay," she whispered. "You are safe now." But Nnamdi knew that he had been close to being taken by the spirits. He had felt their cold touch, heard their whispers in the dark, and even though the Ewe Festival was over, he knew that the spirit would return next year, just as they always did. From that night on, Nnamdi never forgot to stay inside during the Ewe Festival, and he never forgot the feeling of that cold hand reaching out from the window, trying to take him away.